Now we will talk about authorization-based vulnerabilities. Authorization concerns the actions that users are permitted to do. While users might successfully authenticate to the system with their username and password, they may not be allowed to access certain resources, change or delete data, or change system settings. Only users with appropriate authorization are allowed to do these things. Users of web applications are frequently able to interact with applications without being authenticated. It's assumed that these users are only authorized to do normal user actions like submitting search queries, adding comments, registering for email notifications, etc. However, there are vulnerabilities that enable unauthenticated users to do things that only authenticated system administrators or developers are authorized to do. Two of the most common authorization-based vulnerabilities are parameter pollution and the insecure direct object reference vulnerabilities. The following sections provide details about these vulnerabilities. Parameter pollution. HTTP parameter pollution vulnerabilities can be introduced if multiple HTTP parameters have the same name. This issue may cause an application to interpret values incorrectly. An attacker may take advantage of HTTP vulnerabilities to bypass input validation, trigger application errors, or modify internal variable values. An attacker can find HTTP vulnerabilities by finding forms or actions that allow users to apply the input. Then attacker can append the same parameter to the get or post data, but with different value assigned. Consider of the following URL. Store hacker search, the category is cars. Yes, this URL has the query string search, and the parameter value is cars. The parameter might be hidden among several other parameters, and the attacker could leave the current parameter in place and append a duplicate as shown here. Car and results equal to 20. Yes, the attacker could then append the same parameter with a different value and submit the new request, like car 20 search bikes. After submitting the request, the attacker could analyze the response page to identify whether any of the values entered were parsed by the application. Sometimes it's necessary to send 3 HTTP requests for each HTTP parameter. If the response from the third parameter is different from the first one, and the response from the third parameter is also different from the second one, this may be an indicator of an impedance mismatch that could be abused to trigger HTTP malware. There are some tips. The WASP-Z attack proxy, or in short, ZAP tool, can be very useful in finding HTTP vulnerabilities. You can download it from this URL, and we will learn about this ZAP tool later. Insecure direct object reference vulnerabilities. Insecure direct object reference vulnerabilities can be exploited when web applications allow direct access to objects based on user input. Successful exploitation could allow attackers to bypass authorization and access resources that should be protected by the system, for example, database records, system files. This type of vulnerability occurs when an application does not sanitize user input and does not perform appropriate authorization checks. An attacker can take advantage of insecure direct object references vulnerabilities by modifying the value of a parameter used to directly point to an object. In order to exploit this type of vulnerability, an attacker needs to map out all locations in the application where user input is used to reference object directly. Let's go over a few examples on how to take advantage of this type of vulnerability. The following example shows how to value of a vulnerability parameter. Value of a parameter can be used directly to retrieve a database record. In this example, the value of the customer ID parameter is used as an index in the table of database holding customer contacts. The application takes the value in the queries and the database to obtain the specific customer record. An attacker may be able to change the value 1188 to another value and retrieve another customer record. In the following example, the value of parameter is used directly to execute an operation in the system. Here you can see user Omar. In this example, the value of the user parameter Omar is used to have the system change the user's password. An attacker can try other usernames and see if it's possible to modify the password of another user. There is also some tip. Mitigation for this type of vulnerability include input validation, the use of per user or session indirect object references, and the access control checks to make sure that the user is authorized for the requested object. And there is some practice, but we will do our practice in the course video.